My wedding is less than a week away. My guy best friend just admitted to being in love with me. I have been engaged to my current fiancé for a year. My best friend and I have known each other since kindergarten. This morning, I woke up to a long text from my guy best friend that he had sent around 6 a.m. The text was him pouring his heart out. He said he's been in love with me for years, but always hoped I'd end up breaking up with my fiancé and finally noticing him. He asked me to call off the wedding and run away with him. He begged and pleaded a lot. He told me he still reminisces about us being drunk and hooking up a year and a half ago and cherishes that night. He ended the message with, "I needed to tell you before it was too late." I just felt gross and sad. I have never had feelings for him beyond platonic love, besides that one night which was a mistake. I've drafted a response and deleted it, over and over. I haven't even told my fiancé. I never confessed to what I did either. I don't want him to have to worry about me so soon before our wedding. I know I need to, but I don't know what to do or how to phrase it. What's worse is that he's become my fiancé's friend too. I'm also pretty mad that my friend chose such an unfortunate time to cause me such distress. There were so many times over the years he could have just bucked up and told me how he felt. But waiting until right before I'm married? Like I would just cancel my wedding and leave my fiancé because of a goddamn text? What's worse, is after we slept, it was never brought up. We both agreed it was a mistake and agreed to never speak of it again and to not tell a soul. I want to tell him to not come to the wedding. I can't trust that he wouldn't try to pull something. I don't even know if I want to talk to him again, but the thought of losing my best friend is heartbreaking. Hell, the thought of not having him at my wedding is really painful. I've been crying over this all day. How do I even go about dealing with this? I'm supposed to get married in under 48 hours. My wedding is less than a week away. My guy best friend just admitted to being in love with me. That night my fiancé got home from his brother's house. I let him sit down and then I showed him the text. He read it and I watched his eyes get bigger and expression angrier. Of course, I started apologizing like an idiot who messed up. He realized we had an affair and instantly went silent. There was a lot of anger behind his silence. He asked me if I agreed to sleep with him that night. That moment was when I panicked. I was selfish and thought about myself. I lied to my fiancé. I told him that he was intoxicated and I was not. I told him that he roped me, but I never had the strength or courage to do anything about it. I made up a lie on the spot about continuing to be friends with him out of fear of what he could do. I also never told my fiancé in case he did something irrational, as my fiancé has anger problems. My fiancé listened to me in shock. He left the house for a few minutes. A few minutes is all it took for him to come back and sit down to talk to me. We talked and he told me he believed me. I sighed in relief in my head. He told me that he understands legal action is not something we can take right now and he promised not to get violent. He also asked me if I still want to go ahead with the wedding, to which I replied I did. He asked me if I was sure and I told him I was. There and then I uninvited my former guy best friend to my wedding. I typed up a very brief, yet quite polite message. It said, "Hey, I'm sorry that you mistook my friendship for something more. The wedding is going to happen, and it'd be best if you didn't attend. It would be best if you never contacted me again. What happened a year ago was not something I wanted, it's something you chose to do despite my wishes. Goodbye." I wanted to make it clear that it was me who wanted him to not come. He read the message and left it on read for a while. I honestly started getting pretty anxious over it and my fiancé asked if I wanted to block him. I did very quickly, hoping he would not have time to contact my fiancé and tell his side of the story. However, just before I could block him, he sent me a nasty message. He called me a liar for leading him on for over a decade, he blamed me for accusing him and told me I would not get away with it, and that he hoped my fiancé left me and that we were infertile. It was just horrible thing after horrible thing and I started crying. Fiancé took my phone into the other room while I sobbed. After reading that message, I really wasn't so sad that my friend wouldn't be attending anymore. And our wedding effing rocked. My fiancé and I are happy together, though he is worried about my trauma. I think that's a secret I'll take to the grave.